talk about ways of thinking. Cool. So let's get started. Last time we talked about thought and unconsciousness and kind of refreshed us on a little bit of Freud. We're going to do more modern-y thinking-y stuff now. Alright, so here I'm going to discuss a couple of different models. So here's a dual process model where there are two systems that work at the same time. Now, dual process models contrast the role of conscious and unconscious thought. It kind of maps pretty decently onto Freud's theory of rational thought and irrational thought. The reflective are the slow and largely rational kind of thoughting process versus the impulsive thought process. The impulsive maps onto the unconscious and irrational kind of frame. We got two. And this impulsive frame process is fast, it's nearly automatic, and sometimes irrational. Not always irrational, so it's not guaranteed that your instinct is immediately irrational, but it's more likely, relatively speaking. If one of the processes is going to be irrational, it's going to be the impulsive one. So, we can kind of put this process into the cognitive experiential self theory, the CEST. I'm going to keep listing both the full name and the acronym because for some reason I cannot retain the connection between those. I've tried. So that's why it's going to be listed over and over again. So this theory seeks to explain unconscious processing and linking it with seemingly irrational and emotion-driven sectors of the mind. So these can be broken down into the rational system and the experiential system. The experiential system is that impulsive one, emotion-driven one. And these are two major psychological systems that are used at the same time to adapt to the world. Now, I've got a big, nice table on table 15.1, and it's going to be on the next slide. Boom. I find this table to be really helpful. It kind of breaks down both frameworks. So we got the rational system, which is analytic. It resembles Freud's secondary process thinking. It's logical. It affects behavior through conscious appraisal of events. You think in terms of abstractions, symbols, words, numbers. It operates slower. It's designed for deliberate action. It can be changed through logical reasoning, and it's effortful and deliberate. It requires justification in theory at least, via logic and evidence, and it produces knowledge. Versus the experiential system, which is more closely tied to emotion. This is assumed to be how animals think. It dominates you when you're emotional, and it's useful for intuition and insight. It produces wisdom. It resembles Freud's primary process thinking. And it's faster. You can kind of think about it like the instinct side versus the so the lizard brain side. Yeah, okay. Just because I'm trying to be mindful of time, I'm literally reproducing the two halves of these slides. So the experiential, we already talked about. The rational, same thing. This is literally a reproduction of that table, but in a way that isn't just a screenshot. For those of you that would are using screen readers or things like that. Just to give you a sense of all the stuff. There's a lot. Now, these two ways of thinking interact. These different systems can generate different decisions, but like I just said, because I read my notes out of order, the systems interact, and the experiential system is still needed for good judgments to be made, but ideally these both come to the same conclusion, or you take the good pieces from both sides, or both processes, and synthesize it. Okay, so next time we are going to talk about motivation and goals. And I think I'm going to cut here for a bit and take a break. So, bye!